Hi, I'm Dakota.
And I'm Lindsay.
And today we'll be talking about our Ergonomics Lab 3 workstation.
So to start, I'm just kind of going to describe the VDT workstation that we selected. We chose to analyze the workstations in Fiedler Learning Commons with the dual monitors. And we chose that basically because Dakota and I study there every day. So any analysis that we perform, and conclusions that we make and recommendations that we make, we can apply them to help us have a better experience. So the type of work typically performed at this workstation can include a variety of studying or schoolwork tasks. We decided to study Dakota's tasks for this lab, and Dakota spends an average of 5 hours studying each day. And that is broken down into two time blocks, one 2-hour block in between classes and one 3-hour block in the evening. That can be broken down further. Dakota spends 40% of her time working and typing on the dual monitors and keyboard setup. 35% of her time is spent taking notes or completing written assignments. 15% of her time is spent working on her own personal laptop, and 10% of her time is spent computing computations on her calculator. So going into some of the hand tools that Dakota uses, as I mentioned in the last slide, Dakota uses her calculator. The buttons can be small, which can be a tedious task if she's using that for 10% of her time that she's spending in the Fiedler Learning Commons. Figure 2 over here shows some mechanical pencils and pens that Dakota uses, and it's important to note that these pens and pencils do not have any comfort grips implemented, which can make writing for an extended period of time kind of strenuous on her muscles in her hand. Figure 4 shows the laptop keyboard that Dakota has on her own personal laptop, so that's important to note as well. Some other hand tools that Dakota uses, up here obviously we have the setup at the dual monitors with the keyboard and the generic mouse. These don't really have any special ergonomic features that make using them more comfortable, so our job is trying to improve upon those.
So one important thing that we wanted to look at while analyzing this workstation is whether or not it can accommodate a wheelchair. And so after we analyzed this workstation, specifically the dual monitors and the Fiedler Learning Commons, we came to the conclusion that it cannot accommodate a worker in a wheelchair. The main reason why we came to this conclusion is due to the amount of space available, specifically to do with the armrests. Wheelchair armrests tend to not have much mobility or adjustments involved, and so that would obviously become an issue when the worker would try and sit in an ergonomic position. So next we wanted to come up with some recommendations, that way we can both implement them when we study. And so one recommendation is that we noticed that the arms did not get much support, and so we recommend either to adjust those armrests or find a chair that has armrests to support your shoulders, as we all know that our shoulders can get a lot of strain when we sit for a long amount of time. And secondly, we also recommend that either we find different places around the engineering building or Fiedler Learning Commons to accommodate our needs, whether that be table height, chair height, or any of the other accommodations. And lastly, shown in figure 1, this is a laptop cooler. And so what this does is it reduces the strain on the worker's neck as well as eyes based on having to look down at the computer screen if they're at just a normal table. And so what this laptop cooler does is it will raise the laptop up so the screen is more level with your eyes.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, if the worker or Dakota or I or another student who is studying is using the dual monitors, we also recommend that they adjust the height of the dual monitors so that the top of the screen is about eye level with the worker.
So here's massage tool number 1 that we chose, and I noticed while studying that my neck, shoulders, and lower back tend to get the most discomfort, and so when I was looking in this, I found a tiger tail portable foam roller, which is shown in figure 1. And in figure 2, specifically looking at row 3 of the images, it focuses on your shoulders, your back, and your neck. And those are the areas where I experienced the most discomfort. So we thought this would be a great way to implement. And it's also only 11 inches, so if I want, I could bring it with me in my backpack.
And then the second massage tool that we decided to implement actually into the workstation was kind of a creative one. So we decided to create some gel wrist rests that also have memory foam in them. And this is something that is very common and is seen in a lot of other workstations similar to this one. But something that's unique about our wrist rests is that they are separate, one for each wrist, which means that they can accommodate for people who have shoulder widths or different shoulder widths. So that's very important. And then another sort of really creative thing that we came up with was the gel touch sensitive mouse. And that basically has memory foam in it, and it acts as a regular mouse, but instead it is not plastic and hard, and it's a lot more comfortable and a lot more ergonomic. So those are kind of our recommendations, and these recommendations definitely help to prevent against dangerous repetitive strain injuries as well as painful conditions such as carpal tunnel syndrome, and they allow for instead a very comfortable work environment. So that's all we have, so we just want to say thank you.
Thanks for watching.